Hello, I'm Guy Raz. I am the host of the TED Radio Hour from NPR. I hope I look like the NPR nerd that you imagine when you hear the radio. I'm here to introduce our next session. It's called Brains Behaving Badly, and it's about some of the actions we take and the decisions we make in our lives and in our workplaces that may not necessarily be good for us. How do we tackle problems like incivility in the workplace? In a world of instant connection, should we always expect our colleagues to be available at all times? And of course, can technology, or maybe a lack of technology, offer up some solutions? So I'm going to start with a brief personal story. This is a family portrait. It was given to me by my now 5-year-old son several months ago. That is the artist on the far left there, on the far right. He is holding a police car, and next to him is his 7-year-old brother. He's holding a baseball card, and their mother, my wife, is all the way to the left. She's looking proudly over her brood. Their uncle is in the background. I don't know why he's there, but he's there. Just threw him in there. And there is Daddy. There I am, right in the middle, and I am holding my iPhone. So you can imagine this is a pretty heartbreaking moment. I'm a radio journalist, and so news and information, runs through my veins. I mean, I'm the kind of person who checks my phone, last thing at night and first thing in the morning. It's something that is always with me. I mean, this is the person I am. I will read tweets about the event that I'm actually attending during the event. And though I spend a lot of time with my kids, it hasn't always meant that I'm present. And in fact, in recent months, my boys started to notice. And that was when I received this family portrait. So that day, actually, I made a decision that has had a profound impact on the way I have chosen to live my life since then. And I decided that I would try to tackle my nomophobia. Nomophobia is the fear of being out of mobile phone contact. And there's actually a move to get this inserted into the DSM when it's next updated. So in an instant, I turned my smartphone into a dumb phone. I deleted Twitter and Facebook, all the news apps that I use, all the listicle sites, my ability to send and receive emails. And what I was left with was a telephone that takes photographs. Now, this epiphany happened a very short time after we did an episode on the TED Radio Hour called Screen Time. And it was all about how this new world that we've embraced, this world of devices, may be changing us. And it's happened in a very short period of time. It's only 5 or 6 years since these devices have become so ubiquitous. It's a world where we're no longer bored in our commute, waiting in line at the supermarket, at airports, where we are no longer without access to instant knowledge. Americans now spend 5 hours a day in front of our devices. And according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, children spend 7 hours a day in front of screens. There's a pediatric epidemiologist who was on that episode of the TED Radio Hour named Dimitri Christakis. And he says we are in the midst of a large, uncontrolled experiment on the next generation of children. He's actually in the middle of a multi-year study looking into how screens are affecting children and, by extension, the rest of us. But because the scientific research needs a large data set, it quite literally cannot keep up with the pace of technology. So we may only begin to understand the impact of all this once the damage has been done. And this experiment is just a few years old. I mean, 6 years ago, you would have thought it was crazy if you saw somebody walking down the street like this with a phone or through an airport terminal. And today, this is perfectly normal behavior. Today, we go to dinner parties and we pull out our phones, or go out on dates with our spouses and friends, and we stare at a screen. I mean, even in the workplace, we'll sit in meetings with colleagues and they'll be talking with us, and it's no longer strange to just be looking at a device. And as we've come to rely on our devices more and more, we've kind of unconsciously outsourced a part of our own brain function to them, right? I mean, our devices, if you think about it, are in many ways an external brain. They are an extension of our own brain. They serve as our navigators. They hold our memories. They keep our calendars, our reminders, our telephone numbers, names of people we know. They offer us a portal to infinite knowledge. And it means that we no longer have to rely on some of our own biological capabilities to take care of many of these things that our brain was designed to do. And already there is evidence to suggest that screens are affecting our memories and our attention spans and our interpersonal skills. And I think our addiction to devices not only means that our brains may be changing, but our behaviors, our ability to empathize, our manners, our kindness, all of these human traits are evolving in ways that we may not like. Now, I am not anti-technology. Our devices are wonderfully enriching and powerful as well, and we should use them for that purpose, to enhance our lives. But I think we also need to remember that we are social animals. We need interaction. We need connection. We need human contact, right? And we need to be present in the company of other humans, our family, our friends, and our coworkers. So I'm not a poster child for a life free from the shackles of technology. I still cheat now and again, but I've made it much, much harder for myself to do so. Now, has it meant that I've missed an important email or tweet or some piece of breaking news? Yes. Has it meant that some of my coworkers have become annoyed because I'm no longer instantly responding to emails? Yeah, it has. But has it been worth it? Yes, it has. And more importantly, my 5-year-old is now drawing portraits of me holding a baseball glove. So if technology offers us both promise and peril, how can we use it in the right way to keep our brains from leading us astray? Well, in this session, Brains Behaving Badly, you are about to hear some of those answers. Thank you.